right? Obviously, he could be.
You don't think it was a little? You don't think that it was a little? You don't think it was a little crazy to just basically just give her all of Biden's baggage like that? I just found that to be so. Like, I don't think that was genuine. Like, I don't think that was good faith at all. I think.
I actually wish Hutch would be meaner. I feel like, fuck. Hutch is too nice. He's just too nice and too kind of a person, okay? He needs to be meaner, okay? Why can't he just be a mean person?
They were trying to threaten the administration, and they just saw her as, I guess, they just tied her to Biden. And the message that they were trying to send to people was that, you know, if you guys don't listen to us, we're going to punish you guys. First of all, what is the historical precedent for this working?
It's modded.
Like, when has this ever worked? For these types to withhold their vote for, you know, Gore or Hillary, or like, when has that ever led to positive outcomes? There's no historical precedent for this, like, serving their interests at all.
We don't have we have a very undemocratic voting system, because in theory you should be able to vote for third parties and then have those votes.
No, but that's not the system that we live in. We don't live in that system. So we live in,
so it's not the right system. Yeah,
I agree that the system is not ideal. I think
rational system.
I understand that, but that still, like, these people were aware of the system, and within the confines, within the framework of that system, they made a conscious decision to hurt Kamala Harris's chances of winning.
I guess.
And I just can't get you to connect the dot from that to, you know, they bear some of the blame for this. Literally, you know, the people being carted off to CCOT, the gay hairdresser that was raped and tortured in that prison, is literally partly their fault. The 14 million projected dead, partly their fault. And they think that they think that because they didn't vote
for her.
No. Anybody who abstained or voted third party, it's literally all of that is partly their fault.
Yes.
That seems a bit extreme. I think
it's just the truth. No, it's the truth. That's the truth.
Wait, why does that seem extreme? Like, do you see, like, what they're actually advocating for? I think what he's actually advocating for is, I want you guys to vote third party, right? Like that's unironically what these people are, like, actually advocating. They're not advocating for saying that Kamala Harris would have been a better candidate or anything of that sort. They're 100% advocating to voting third party, right?
At the individual level, one voter. I just think you're putting way too much. I mean, we're not going to agree on this. It's a normative disagreement. I think you're putting way too much, without relitigating all the points we made. I think you're putting way too much onus on individuals and not enough on elites. And the other point I'd make is I would just be less smug about.
Oh, this is the donor class.
In view of the moral and political failings of the senator, who again are, as you acknowledged, I watched your Kyle video the other day. As you acknowledged, they're fucking really unpopular. The Democrats are not liked. Parties usually something is deeply wrong here because
Oh no, fuck. I really like Gage. Okay, I really do. But my favorite, my favorite will always be Axton. Okay.
Parties usually, when an incumbent president's in power and is starting to become less popular, as all the recent ones have, in the first year, they usually the other party starts to gain favorability. This party's despised. Like they fucked up.
My point with the Kalinsky video is that the rhetoric that he was deploying in that video is one of the reasons why the Democratic Party polling is so low. I mean, I'm not saying that we need to sidestep altogether the shortcomings of the party or Biden himself. I have so many critiques of Biden. Like, I have so many sharp criticisms of Biden. Like, he's kind of still on my shit list for his part in Trump winning. So it's not like I never talk about the fact that Biden is largely responsible for Trump winning through his own decisions. But I guess the difference between
I genuinely am curious about, like, how much money Jill Stein gets from Russia. Okay, that's all I'm thinking of. All right, how much money is Jill Stein getting from Russia in order to divvy up the Democratic vote? Okay.
Between you and me is that I still make time to call out rhetoric that I think is bad. Like Kalinsky was just telling his audience things that just weren't true. Did you not see that part? Like he was telling his audience that after Trump did the wait, he said that when Trump did the strike on the nuclear facilities in Iran, he said that no Democrats spoke up about it being illegal and unconstitutional. And it took me 2 seconds to find both congressional leadership and Jeffries and Schumer making statements calling it unconstitutional. He either lied or he misled his audience. But all those little things that he says, you know, that comment, that's just one of many things that he says that go beyond hyperbole, and it's just a lie. Like when he says Democrats aren't, literally no Democrats are doing anything to fight Donald Trump, he's either lying or he just
hyperbole.
Huh?
The problem with the Democrats is they haven't figured out an effective attack route, and they also haven't figured out, they don't seem to believe in anything. There is a perception with the public, and this is reflected in the polling data, that they don't believe in anything. And I think part of it is they don't have a clear identity.
If you want to forget
cultural stuff people were into for a while, woke or whatever, but I mean, and then Biden was kind of left wing economically, although he's an ex-New Democrat. It just ends up with like, and then Obama's the popular figure who, you know, is kind of in between a Clinton or Biden in terms of of how left wing his politics were. But it's hard to know what he believes either. Like the party doesn't seem to have a clear identity at all.
What do you think when, for example, MAGA Republicans say stuff like Democrats want to mutilate children? What do you think of that rhetoric?
I mean, that's not productive. That's not productive rhetoric. I have to say, though, I'm concerned.
Hang on. Well, come on.
I'm concerned about these. I'd have to read more, but I'm very concerned.
No, it's very productive for them. It's extremely effective. There's nothing that turns on people more than kids, okay? Just look at Jeffrey Epstein issue, okay? People are bursting at the seams in their pants the moment they think of kids being raped. All right, Jesus.
Based you have to understand, I live in Great Britain, and in this country, even with the center left, the transgender issue, while people are respectful of people's identities as they should be.
No, we're getting sidetracked here. We're getting sidetracked here. So if you don't want to indulge that example, then like, what do you think about when MAGA was during Biden's presidency? What do you think about the fact that they were saying that he was literally demented to the point where he didn't know what he was and he was shitting his pants?
Again, that's hyperbole with the fact that he obviously was.
Do you disavow that hyperbole? Don't you think that is bad and destructive?
It's our country. Like
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Listen, all right. I'm just calling it as it is. Okay. It's honestly fuck. Why the fuck is it switching all the way to the next scene? Fuck me, dude. My bad. Dude, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is? It's like the economy. I sleep. Kids. They're coming! You're welcome.
I agree. Like there's the hyperbolic comments happen, but I'm saying like, do you not agree that was destructive? Like it actually worked. I mean, like that constant them telling people that he was literally demented, it literally worked, and it was one of the reasons why he fell off so much.
Well, if he had a good debate instead of not being able to speak coherent sentences, I think
you're avoiding being critical of the right-wing hyperbole because you know that where I'm going with that. Like if you think that hyperbole is destructive, then you necessarily have to believe that Kyle's saying that the Democrats are literally doing nothing is also destructive. It's just from a different perspective.
I just don't think they have I think they have a really big messaging problem with the fact that everyone's doing their own thing. People also have different ideologies. Like you have competing ideologies, and they're trying to paper over all these serious divisions, and the result is a very muddled picture to the public, right? I mean, there are people who are saying that the cultural issues played and I think actually that's true. I mean, I'm critical of the public for that because while a lot of the woke stuff was dumb, like just white man bad is not the same as like helping black people, and I'm sorry, some of the rhetoric was akin to that.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't vote on this basis either. It's like if you're an adult, you shouldn't say, "Okay, I don't like woke, so I'm going to vote for Trump."
I think you're right there, though. I think you're right up to the line of acknowledging that political rhetoric can have extremely destructive consequences. And if we're going to apply that kind of standard to MAGA people when they just fully lie about what the Democratic Party is, when they fully lie about Obama or whoever else they're on at any given moment, that's destructive.
Your landlord is so gracious, allowing you to yell sexual things about children so often. Oh, we have shared interests.
And harmful rhetoric because it's just not true. It's just a very cynical kind of weaponization of like the ignorance in the electorate, like people that are not very engaged and they get their news consumption from bite-sized clips on TikTok or Twitter or whatever. But that same standard needs to be applied on the left wing as well, and they do their own insane rhetoric. Like Cenk going on Jubilee and saying that Joe Biden, he said straight up, Joe Biden is evil, and he acts as controlled opposition, and the Democratic Party along.
One time, okay, so he approached me again, right? And he's like, so have you heard about our Messiah Trump? And I'm like, you mean the fucking pedophile fucking hider person Trump, all right? What about the Epstein shit? And he's like, have you heard about our Messiah Trump? Like, he just repeats the same line. It's like, okay, not very effective, all right?
With every other Democratic Party president, they only throw you scraps so you don't do a revolution. But they're lying to you because they don't care to you, because all they care about is the donors. Like that was his whole thing. We're beyond hyperbole. He is now establishing a framework, an entire framework for the Democratic Party. And it is, and according to his narrative that he's been pushing for literally 2 decades now, this is the rotten institution that is fundamentally evil, and they're lying to you that they care about your needs. That is beyond.
Is this the convo about people not taking responsibility for their vote? Yes. Yeah. But at the same time, like, it's just another brain dead lefty fucking debate person. Fuck me, dude. They're all like fucking One Piece.
And that's beyond acceptable hyperbole to me.
Yeah.
I don't think I think the truth. I think that there's a lot of truth to what he says. And here's one thing.
Also, fuck these
I don't think the Democratic Party. I think the Republican Party is actually a lot more ideological than the Democratic Party. I think there are people in the Republican Party, elites, who really want to see a reduction of immigration, like despise the diversity in the country. Right. I think that's definitely an ideological motivation of Republicans. Like the anti-immigration stuff, I think is real. It's not just rhetorical. Right? Like the kind of machismo foreign policy. I think that's real, not just rhetorical. With the Democrats, I don't think they have a clear ideological commitment, and that leads, and nor do I think they have had it for frankly a while. And I think that leads to cynicism because it's not clear what they stand for.
I mean, to people that are engaged, like, we know what the party stands for. We're talking about, what are we talking about? We're talking about raising taxes on corporations and wealthy individuals. We're talking about funneling that money back down to middle income and low income earners through social safety net programs. We're talking about like a more humane immigration policy platform. We're talking about, especially it's been more pronounced in the last couple of years. No, they did not flip on this. They did not flip on this. They negotiated a bipartisan immigration bill with Republicans after the level of influx that we saw at the border reached levels that the country had never seen before. And our system was just simply not built for that. And even normie Democrats who think that we should have more immigration, even they were like, okay, this is something that needs to be addressed in some way. But that
is this your first playthrough of BL2? This has to be like my 5th at this point or something. I don't know. It's just I played this game too much, dude. Jesus.
Doesn't mean they flipped their entire position on immigration. Joe Biden naturalized twice as many people when he was president than Donald Trump did. He issued way more visas for people to come into the country. So it's just objectively the case that Democrats are way more pro-immigrant than the Republican Party.
Yeah, they're more pro-immigrant, but the point is they just don't seem to have
super
clear,
badass
emphatic ideological commitments the way the right do, and frankly the way the leftists do. And I don't agree with a lot of what the leftists say on some of these. Now, immigration, But
you can take a look at they introduced a bill. They introduced a bill when Biden was president in 2021. So you can look at what they want. They wanted to do like pathway to citizenship. They wanted to, like, that bill. I'd have to look into the particular details, but that bill was like the Democratic version of immigration reform. And of course,
the 2024 bill. Right?
No, the 2021 bill. They introduced a bill to overhaul our immigration system. It was blocked by Republicans in the Senate, and it died. So all you got to do is just take a look, and you're saying, well, it's not really clear what the Democrats stand for. But if you're engaged enough to know politics, then you do know what the Democrats stand for.
Why do they hate donors so much? Someone needs to ask Cenk why he doesn't like kebab. What? Listen. The donor class is whomever you don't like, okay? The Jews. It's the fucking Jews.
It just seems like I agree that there are positions which you're articulating, but it seems like technical.
Oh, and since since Cenk is Turkish, okay, I guess it's also the Armenians. I guess include them in. All right.
Democratic, half-hearted tinkering rather than like clear, bold, emphatic positions.
And probably the Kurds as well, okay?
Which I think are attractive to people right now. I think
anyone
that's why the left is growing.
Turkish.
I think that's why the right is growing. I think the country's in a more ideological and radical mood, if you will.
Well, they'll
indulging some of that on specific issues, like not in every issue, because
that's what Biden. You're describing what is nuts. You're describing what Biden did. Biden did that. He literally did that. He literally invited Warren and.
Hutch is such a base favorite of Foodshops. When I'm going on Nick arc. Never. Okay, I'm all clean. No. Whoa. What was that?
Sanders into the room to help craft the ARP. Like, he full on said, okay, you know what? Like, you guys helped me out. He was like good at building coalitions with them. They helped him win the election. And he literally invited them into the room. Like, he did not want to do student loan forgiveness with executive fiat. He wanted to do that through a congressional bill.
That's actually correct. It's correct that he was moving in that direction, which is interesting at two levels. First level is, if you look at the left-wing influencers in 2022, let's say, before the genocide,
Don't say Hassan. Don't say Hassan. Don't say Hassan.
They were kind of shyly pro-Biden, right? They were, like, Kyle is a good example.
That's on BL3. It's not as good as BL2, but I would say the best content are the raids. Like the missions where you raid an entire fucking fortress or some shit. Like, there's only 2 of them, but it's so fucking awesome. Holy shit. But yeah.
They wouldn't.
He's like the only example, by the way. You're saying the left, but
no. Like Cenk was. Even like Hassan made some sympathetic noises. The Gaza issue ended it. So that's the first thing.
No. Now you're rewriting history. They were yeah. You are because you're ignoring the fact that they were like, he promised 2,000, we only got 1,400, and he promised the $15 an hour minimum wage. Why didn't you fire the parliamentarian and Joe Manchin's mom? Like he promised a public option, he didn't even go for it. They were still doing that during his first 2 years. I mean, there was a brief moment where Kyle got wildly based and took Brianna Joy Gray to task. But the black pill lefty space, the one that I'm talking about, they were all complaining about Biden all the time. They might have given him flowers every once in a while, but he moved left on so many issues, and it didn't fucking matter to these people.
If you found data, I bet you if you found data. No, I don't know. I can't claim to know data this or fine. So let's caveat that with I'm speculating. But my suspicion is that if you found data of Biden's approval among people who are, say they're leftists or Democratic Socialists or AOC voters, let's say, or whatever, or Sanders supporters.
I'll bet you he was underwater.
I'll bet much higher in 2022.
I'll bet you, but
he was high.
But I'll bet you he was. But I'll bet you he was still underwater. I'll bet you he was still sub 50% for self-described.
He was like high among them, and then he went to low after Gaza specifically, because this is
you're rewriting history. I mean, somebody said in chat, but these people were the same people that blamed him for Roe v. Wade. I mean, these people were literally blaming him for Roe v. Wade.
Crystal's another one. She was very cynical of Biden in 2020 and barely voted for him. She did vote for him.
There was a glimpse of this though. There was only a glimpse in 2020. They started to a glimpse in 2022, and then it was just.
Noam Chomsky's another example. I mean, he's now he's kind of no longer with us mentally, sadly, but he was saying positive things about Biden. So that's like very left wing intellectual.
What? The fucking genocide denier? The fucking genocide denier person? What? Fuck that guy, dude. He openly fucking denies the Bosnian genocide, or at least like he fucking kind of does. He fucking rewrites that shit. Fuck him.
Who I have problems with, by the way. I don't like Chomsky's commentary on Srebrenica or Ukraine. Okay. So I'm not saying I co-sign everything he said, but nevertheless, very left-wing guy, major intellectual. He was basically pro-Biden until I don't think he was alive, cognitively speaking, and being kind of cruel in how I talk about it. During the Gaza issue, but he was sympathetic. So no, there was more of a.
No, but
look at Congress. Look at AOC and Sanders, and they were
Chomsky
even after they were even pro Biden when they shouldn't have been.
Right? No, but the people that I'm talking about, they're relentless in this pursuit of this narrative. This narrative that the Democratic Party are fucking evil. And that didn't stop when Biden became president. You're right. You can find clips here and there of Kyle and Crystal giving Biden flowers for like labor stuff. They really liked his NLRB pick and what she was doing. They liked his union support. I mean, all that's true. But there was still this underlying black pill analysis. The fact that they were, excoriating him and demonizing him because he didn't blackmail Joe Manchin by threatening investigation of his daughter. They were still doing that shit throughout the first 2 years of Biden's presidency, well before Gaza. And I just feel like you're really rewriting history here. And this is the problem that I've identified recently. I've been talking about it for a really long time, but I'm trying to give it more like specific terminology so we can be more sort of we can more efficiently discuss these ideas.
Both Cenk, Uygur, and Anna were making sympathetic noises toward Biden in 2022 on student loan forgiveness, Inflation Reduction Act.
Well, look up their rhetoric on $15 an hour minimum wage and public option shit.
Yeah, I mean, sure they were critical, but they have to maintain like their brand too. But they were much more. If you don't know,
wait, hold on, that's the problem. Hold on. You just described the problem. Thank you for saying that. You said they have to worry about their brand. That's the problem. That's the exact problem. Their brand is relentlessly shitting on Democrats and being completely uncharitable to them. That is a problem, and that is what I'm trying to
there needs to
confront.
Be that I'm not going to use the term vanguard, but there needs to be that left flank. The point is, look, the ultimate point is we're going to go in circles here, and I want to make a few comments about Letterbox if you'll allow me to.
What?
I know he's your friend, so you don't have to, but
we got to wrap the conversation up. So if you want, you can make a final point. That's fine. I'll listen. Okay. I don't want to get into Loanerbox. We can talk about that.
That's fine.
Wait, why?
So no, but the only point I'd make on this issue is I think that having the hard left, giving them some space, and also engaging in more reflection on the political and moral problems of the center left rather than the smug attitude is the better political and ethical approach. That's basically where we disagree.
Wait, what does History Speaks have against Loanerbox? I guess I don't know the lore. Like, I don't know much about this guy except that his like arguments sound fucking retarded, right? But does he have beef with this guy or?
Yeah, we definitely disagree. But yeah, thanks for the conversation. Appreciate it.
All right, appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.
Wait, what? He thinks Destiny is on pro-genocide?
I think I'm getting better, but I got to sit down and organize my thoughts a little bit more. I do think I'm getting better, but
No, it's because you're too soft.
Okay. The whole goal is to be just much more streamlined about these things. That's why I'm really drilling things right now, like Black Pill Left and I'm like the various behaviors, Green Lantern, and like I want to be able to like paint the picture.
How are we shoppers and not foodies? I don't know. No one came up with the name, okay? It's been years at this point. No one still came up with the name, so good luck, okay?
Really clearly. And I want people to be able to like quickly understand what I'm alluding to. Because otherwise you got to get into the weeds. You got to start giving examples. You got to start giving like 10 examples. I got to tell you, I'm seeing people just organically show up in my mentions referring to Black Pill Left. And I see that shit and I'm like, what's a self-satisfied face?
I gave like 4 good examples.
Feel good. I see people using that language. I was like, ooh, it's working.
I mean, is the community taking it though? Like the community has to run with it, right? Like the thing is that, I mean, you can suggest like a billion names, but that doesn't mean anyone's going to run with it, right? Yeah.
People are using the words. You could cut through that shit over and over and he couldn't handle it. I mean, the big disconnect there obviously is he along with, I guess like Econoboy was espousing the same thing.
Yeah, what the fuck is Green Lantern?
They take the position that the rhetoric itself is actually not that big of a deal. And my contention these days is when we look at the Democratic Party number, the numbers, like the approval numbers, and how they've changed specifically since 2015, this complete free fall of public support. I think that the lefty media space, the Black Pill lefty media space, I think that they have a role in that. Like this chart is just so fucking wild to me. It's such an unbelievable chart. This happened right here. Like, here's why this chart doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Because what has been the biggest complaint since, you know...
Whoa, Foodshops stream? Look at that. I stream every day.
Well, I guess like even back here, the biggest complaint about politics in America is the impact that neoliberal policies had on working class families. So like throughout the 70s and the 80s, wages were just completely stagnant. Real wages were, there was no real wage growth for like 20 to like 30 years, 20 to 30 years, like 20 years. It was like the late 70s into the like early 2000s. So, you know, we'll say 25 years of just stagnant wage growth, real wage.
Okay, cool.